All right, so as it's starting to get a little bit more cooler outside, obviously during this time of the year, this is going to be when you're reaching for your more kind of slightly sweeter fragrances, heavier fragrances, more sort of ambery fragrances. And that's what we have here today is Ain Emarat, I believe is how you pronounce it. And this is from Wataniah. And this is their take on Emporio Armani's Stronger With You Amber. So the Stronger With You series, that's a series of fragrances that I'm not really that familiar with at all. Actually, this is the first Stronger With You fragrance that I've actually smelled. So I'm really not that familiar with the actual DNA, but when I saw that Wataniah had their version of one of their fragrances, I said, let me go ahead and try to pick this up and, see if it's, at all close to, the original fragrance. And if it is, how high quality does it smell next to the original? And so far I can say I have been, quite pleased by this. So this is going to be the presentation. You've got the name of the fragrance here on the front. This is a Eau de Parfum 100 ml bottle. The presentation on this is okay. It looks like, more of a cheaper Middle Eastern sort of, inspired fragrance, but it's okay. And then you've got Wataniah, the logo up top there. Nothing really on the sides of the box. And then on the bottom, you've got like the ingredients, the manufacture date, stuff like that. All right. And then this just kind of slips up like that, and the bottle sits inside. And it's a very sort of simplistic looking bottle. So you've just got Ain Emarat written here, Wataniah logo. And then I'm not really sure what this is on the top of the cap. It almost kind of looks like it might be like a tree or something like that on the top of the cap. You've got Wataniah written down at the bottom as well as the manufacture date. And then there's really nothing else on the rest of the bottle. The cap is, a pretty cheap, lightweight plastic sort of cap. But it does actually snap on, so you can absolutely pick this up by the cap. And as far as the sprayer goes, this is a pressurized sprayer, so it does, shoot out a pretty decent amount of juice, and it does feel pretty good as well. So if you're not familiar with the notes of, Stronger With You Amber, at least on Fragrantica, the notes are just amber, Madagascar vanilla, and lavender. Now, there are definitely a lot more notes within the Ain Emarat. So the top notes of Ain Emarat have pink pepper, cardamom, lavender, and mandarin. And then in the mid, you have geranium and vanilla. And in the base, you have gaiac wood, sandalwood, and vetiver. So definitely you're getting, a different note breakdown. But what I will say is, the two fragrances, the Ain Emarat as well as the Stronger With You Amber, these do smell like really, really alike. All right. So obviously I've worn this fragrance, both of them a few times here, but I'm also going to just spray these on a strip. And I mean, what I can say is like the fragrance that I would kind of, compare this scent profile to would be something like this, Bath and Body Works Mahogany Woods. Now, at least for me anyway, I think Mahogany Woods, I probably enjoy this one a little bit better. The way that this is done, I do enjoy the way that the vanilla is done in this a little bit more. The amber, the woods, this almost kind of comes off slightly boozy almost. Whereas with this, the Ain Emarat and the Stronger With You Amber, this is more to me just kind of like amber and lavender is, a lot of what I'm getting. I also do kind of get like that geranium touch in this as well. And definitely in a dry down, it does seem like you do get more of a mixture of kind of like amber and vanilla. But to me, anyway, the amber, the way that it's done in the vanilla, the way that it's done in Bath and Body Works mahogany woods, is a little bit more, appealing, at least to me anyway. But this is still a solid fragrance. Now, in terms of like the differences in smell, what I'll say is these two, at least in the opening, they smell probably at least about 90+% close to each other. I think what I'm getting though from the Stronger With You Amber is, even though it doesn't list like all these other notes that Ain Emarat has, it seems to me like it does actually have, those notes within the Stronger With You, because for me, I do get more of sort of like a slightly more crisper kind of pink pepper, cardamom sort of freshness from the Stronger With You Amber. Whereas the Ain Emarat, this to me, it smells a little bit heavier on like the lavender, the geranium, and it's kind of got like a sort of thicker sort of cardamom feel to it. A lot of times cardamom kind of comes off as like this sort of fresh kind of spice. At least the way that it's done in Ain Emarat, it's not as sort of fresh as what it is in the Stronger With You Amber. And I mean, the same thing really that I'm getting on the strips are, it's the same thing that I get on skin as well. Now, these differences, you really only kind of pick up on that for probably like the first, 15, 20 minutes or so is, when I mainly sort of pick up on these differences, especially when I wear it on skin. And then, after that, you could really say that the two fragrances are pretty much identical after that. So, obviously, with these interpretation fragrances, clones, whatever you want to call them, there normally is like some sort of like slight difference that you get within the opening. And that's normally due to, like the different materials that are being used. But this is yet again another sort of inspired fragrance that to me just overall is extremely close to the original. Now, both fragrances definitely, they do start to become a little bit more sort of woodier as they dry down. Woodier, I would say almost kind of creamier. And the amber in this is not like super fizzy. All right. So, and when I say that, I'm referring to both the Ain Emarat and the original from Armani. The amber in this is just, it's a more kind of, I don't know how to say it, maybe like buttery and thick, you could say, is how the amber sort of comes off in this. So it's not going to be like that same type of amber that you would get in something like Grand Soir, where it's really kind of fizzy and bubbly. It's not like the amber and Ambre Nuit. So it's not going to be that type of amber. This is definitely going to be, like I said, more kind of like the amber that's in something like Mahogany Woods, where it's, a little bit thicker, denser. And, I guess you could say kind of drier, you could say. So, yeah, I think, if you're somebody who likes Mahogany Woods, then you should anyway, I feel like you should like Ain Emarat as well. Or, just overall the Stronger With You Amber scent profile. Now, again, I don't know exactly where this falls in terms of like the ranking of all of the different sort of Stronger With You fragrances, because they have a ton of them, I see. But this is the first scent profile within the Stronger With You sort of scent family that I've smelled. And I mean, it does smell pretty good. It does. It's definitely a very, in my opinion, inoffensive, really easy to wear, cooler weather type of scent. Um, I would definitely say this is going to be a scent that you'll want to wear when you just want to kind of feel warm and cozy. And like I said, you want to, put on something that's for the most part kind of fairly inoffensive. Like I really don't see anybody disliking the way that this smells. And this is also not a fragrance that is like so loud and so thick that, you know, it would like choke people out. It doesn't really seem like that, and it doesn't wear that way on my skin either. And I mean, normally when I would wear this fragrance, I think I probably sprayed this on like 8 to 10 times or so, and I mean, it never became like super cloying or really heavy or headache inducing. Like it's a very, I'm not going to say light fragrance, but it comes off, at least on my skin, as kind of aromatic. So yeah, man, overall, I do enjoy this. Like I said, if you do like mahogany woods, then I think, this is definitely something that, is an easy pickup for you. Now, if you already have mahogany woods, is this redundant? Um, I mean, I can't necessarily say that, even though I think that these two do kind of have some similarities and maybe, they remind me of each other. I don't necessarily think that they're redundant to where, if you have one, you absolutely shouldn't buy the other. I think, if you like kind of ambery, vanillic, warm, cozy types of scents, then I think, this is definitely going to be, right up your alley. And it's going to be pretty cheap as well. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for Ain Emarat, but I'm pretty sure that it was less than $40. Like it was between that $30 and $40 range on Fragrance Buy. So it's absolutely not an expensive fragrance at all. All right. Now, as far as the performance goes, the performance on the Ain Emarat is actually a little bit better, at least on my skin anyway, as far as the longevity goes, than what the Armani is. So this easily on my skin lasted for about 10 hours or so, 10 plus hours. Whereas with the Stronger With You Amber, that one I feel like it had significantly less strength after probably like the 7th hour or so than what this did. So while the Stronger With You Amber, it does last on my skin about 8 hours or so, it definitely is a very kind of weak 8 hours for sure. Whereas like I said, easily with this one, this pushes way past that, with more strength. Now, as far as the projection goes, it's a little weird because at least within probably like the first hour and a half or so, I feel like this doesn't project as loudly, or it's not as diffusive as what the Stronger With You Amber is. This does seem to kind of push off of my skin a little bit better than what the Ain Emarat does. So, I guess that's kind of like the trade-off that you're getting. So this is going to smell a little bit stronger, or it's going to push out further for, that first hour and a half to 2 hours or so. But in the end, this is going to last a little bit longer on your skin, or at least it did on mine anyway. All right. So that is the performance figures. Now, as far as just a sort of overall closeness rating for Ain Emarat when compared to the Stronger With You Amber, I'm going to say that this is like a strong 92.5 to like 95% close to Stronger With You Amber. So, this is a very, very good interpretation of the fragrance. You really, to me, don't ever really feel like this is like lacking in quality or anything like that. This is still like, designer quality when it comes to how this is blended. Like I said, other than those kind of slight sort of differences within the opening, that's really the only differences that I got between the two fragrances. Outside of that, they seem to, perform and smell, well, not perform, but they seem to smell pretty much the same on my skin, especially after like that first hour and a half, 2 hours or so. In the dry down, I was getting the exact same thing from the two fragrances. So I know the Stronger With You Amber, I want to say that fragrance for like 100 ml, I think goes for like around $80 to $90 or so. Whereas again, with the Ain Emarat from Wataniah, this is like more in that $30 to $40 range. So, I mean, if you're someone who is like a collector of the Stronger With You series, and maybe Stronger With You Amber is not one that you have, then, I guess go out and purchase the full bottle of that. But if you're someone who maybe has smelled the scent profile on someone, and, you're on a tighter budget, but you still want to smell like that, then I would absolutely say, you will get, for the most part, the same experience with Ain Emarat that, you would with the Emporio Armani Stronger With You Amber. So, in terms of just an overall rating for this fragrance, as far as, just how I enjoy this fragrance overall, this I would say is easily like an 8 out of 10. It is a very solid, again, ambery, vanillic, slightly sort of, herbal, and because I mean, you get a heavy dose of that lavender and the geranium for sure. So that is a big part of this fragrance. So I would say if you don't really like lavender or geranium, then, you're not going to like this scent profile at all. But yeah, man, overall, this is a very easy to wear, kind of warm and cozy winter and fall time fragrance that, is extremely cheap as well. And it smells extremely high quality. So this is definitely a solid fragrance. Absolutely check this out if you are, a fan of Stronger With You Amber, and you maybe don't want to spend the Emporio Armani prices, then this is definitely a good alternative. And again, this is Ain Emarat from Wataniah. So that's my take on the fragrance. Let me know in the comments if you all have smelled Stronger With You Amber, and if you have you also smelled Ain Emarat? And if so, how close do you actually think that this comes to Stronger With You Amber? Also, I'll have a link in the description to where you can purchase this fragrance, as well as the original, and also Mahogany Woods, if I can see or if I can find that it's available anywhere. I'll have a link in the description for that. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see you on the next video.